They called him the Prince of Darkness. The man who turned chaos into an empire, survived more scandals than most could imagine, and made a career out of shocking the world. But in July 2025, that voice, that chaos, that unstoppable force stood on the edge of its final roar. After decades of touring, decades of controversy, decades of heavy metal history, Ozzy Osbourne stepped onto the stage one last time. Not in Los Angeles, not in New York, but back where it all began, Birmingham, England. It was a night dripping with nostalgia, raw emotion, and a ticking clock. Because what the fans didn't know was just how close the end really was. July 5th, 2025, Villa Park Stadium, Birmingham. The air was electric. This wasn't just another gig, it was a historic event. The first full Black Sabbath reunion in nearly 20 years. Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Bill Ward, all sharing a stage with Ozzy one last time. Tickets gone in minutes. 45,000 fans in the stadium, another 5.8 million watching online. And they weren't just here for the music, they were here for closure. Ozzy didn't walk onto that stage. He was wheeled to the center, seated on a black throne. Parkinsons had taken his mobility, but his eyes still burned with the same mischief. The voice? Still, unmistakably, Ozzy. And this wasn't a cash grab farewell. The concert raised a staggering £140 million for Parkinson's research and children's hospitals. The crowd knew they were part of something that wouldn't and couldn't happen again. But behind the applause, there was a question nobody could quite shake. Could Ozzy really pull this off?
Ozzy first revealed his Parkinson's diagnosis to the world in 2020. In truth, the symptoms had been creeping in for years. Tremors, muscle stiffness, the slow loss of control over his body. By 2025, he could no longer walk without assistance. Sharon admitted publicly that the disease was progressing fast, but insisted one thing hadn't changed: his voice. Even after multiple spinal surgeries, endless rounds of rehab, and enough hospital stays to fill a tour schedule, Ozzy refused to quit. He trained for months leading up to the show. Vocal warm-ups, physiotherapy, and sheer bloody-minded determination. Still, not everyone believed. Rumors began swirling online, whispers that AI or hologram technology might be used to help the performance. Some fans bought into it. Others called it insulting. And Ozzy? He ignored the noise. Because for him, there was only one goal: get on that stage and sing.
When the lights hit, Ozzy didn't shuffle, didn't stumble. He sat tall on that black throne, like a monarch surveying his kingdom. The set was short, his voice a little shaky, but the emotion in every note was overwhelming. After his solo numbers, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward joined him for a Sabbath reunion the world thought it would never see again. In between songs, Ozzy's eyes glistened. "You've got no idea how I feel," he told the crowd. "Thank you from the bottom of my heart." The night wasn't just about music. Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Slayer, and Pantera all played tribute sets. Jason Momoa even showed up to salute the man who made being wild an art form. And then, it was over. Ozzy waved one last time and the lights went out. 17 days later, so did he. July 25th, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne passed away at home, surrounded by family. The cause? Cardiac arrest brought on by an acute heart attack. Years of heart disease, coupled with the complications of Parkinson's, had finally caught up with him. The shock was global. Fans had just watched him sing his heart out. Now, tributes poured in from every corner of the music world. Robert Plant,
even though he had declined to attend the farewell concert, sent words that cut deep. Ozzy never left the stage, he just took it with him. His funeral was held on July 30th. The procession passed through the streets of Birmingham, stopping at Villa Park and the Black Sabbath Bridge. Tens of thousands lined the route, some cheering, some crying, all of them knowing they were saying goodbye to the last true rock outlaw. Ozzy's death didn't stop the story. If anything, it amplified it. The BBC announced a documentary, Ozzy Osbourne, Coming Home, set to air on August 18th. It promised an unfiltered look at his final years, the Parkinsons battle, the family moments, the stubbornness that made him refuse to fade quietly. A concert film, Back to the Beginning, Ozzy's Final Bow, is set for early 2026. Fans who missed the show will get to relive the night exactly as it happened. And Birmingham is building an exhibition in his honor. Not just the rock star, but the local boy who turned himself into a global legend. Of course, the rumors didn't stop either. Whispers about what really happened in his final days. Kelly Osbourne shut them down quickly. Dad lived the way he wanted, and he went out the same way. Ozzy's final act wasn't about perfection. It was about defiance. He could have canceled the show. No one would have blamed him. But he didn't. He chose to go out in front of his fans, in his city, with his band. No hospital bed, no quiet fade out, a mic in his hand, music in his veins, and fire in his eyes. That's what makes this more than just another celebrity farewell. It's a reminder that even when your body fails you, your spirit can still roar loud enough to shake the walls. In the end, Ozzy Osbourne didn't just have a career, he had an anthem. And his final verse was his own. Raw, flawed, unforgettable. He left the world exactly the way he wanted. On his throne, under the lights, with the crowd in the palm of his hand. So now I'll ask you, what's your first memory of Ozzy? Was it the music, the madness, or both? Drop it in the comments, because legends like this, they don't fade, they echo forever.